You know, there were two great Godfathers. Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. This is part 2 of the National Football Show with Big Sills. Bob Lang over with the Philadelphia Eagles cannot stop us. All of you. We appreciate you hanging tight with us. Hit that damn like button now. We are not going to let anybody stop us here. Thank you. Little bit of technical difficulties with YouTube, and they ended up knocking us off. So we're going to reset this puppy. Nothing has changed. We just lose 10 minutes of my life. Here, let me make a point to you here. So, hey, okay, it's like me talking to Senorita for 10 minutes. It's like 10 minutes of my life I wish I could have got back, but I can never get back. That's kind of what that little gap was here. So do me a favor. Please hit the like button. We appreciate you guys coming aboard. We're going to get Xander up here in a second, and we're going to go forward with it. We appreciate everybody coming aboard. Hey, smash that like button, man. Oh, I know what it is. You see, at the beginning of the program, Xander Krause, Super Bowl Eagle. Yeah. Elite. And I kept going like this. Oh, my God. 9-28. What are you, crazy, man? Hey, don't forget, Joe Theismann's going to join us at 5:30. I'm assuming that we're going to have to send probably a new link to him also to get him aboard with us also at 5:30. But without further ado, hopefully he was able, through all this chaos, put his top 10 quarterbacks. And will Jalen Hurts finally be on Big Sil's list? Because remember something, 9-28 over the last 5. I don't know what you're looking at here. Okay, I have no idea what you're looking at. By the way, the first part of the program was kicking ass. You guys were doing great. Let's make the second half of the program even better. So we look forward to it. That being said, he is the co-host of Birds 365. He does a fabulous job. Look what he did here, man. Talk about troubleshooting. Kept calm. Like Sills, you know, I never get bent out of shape over anything. My volume's down, Sander. My volume's. All right? He never gets frustrated. Only when he's talking to Big Sills about Jalen Hurts and about his Eagles. Does a great job on the pre and post and the halftime. Let's bring him up here. Our friend, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What's up, everybody? Sorry about that, man. What a pain. What a royal pain in the ass.
Who, me?
No, not you. Well, you too. I mean, that's a given now. I mean, that's every day of my life. I don't know what happened. YouTube, StreamYard, somebody disconnected us in the middle of you on a rant, and now we're losing all of our data. So if you're in here, we appreciate you. Obviously, our viewership is a lot lower when you have to cancel out on a show that was crushing.
Killing it.
So hit that like button, show us some support, because we're going to miss out on a lot of views today, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. Like Nick Sirianni, we roll on. All right?
Who?
That was abysmal that you left him off your list.
What, my top 10 coaches? He doesn't deserve to be on that list. He's not that good a coach. He's not that good a coach.
Bullshit.
Let me say this to you. If you had to hire a coach to start your franchise, would he be number 1?
No.
Okay. Would he be in your top 10?
Yes.
Oh my God. Be in your here's who I would name.
Dude, the guy is a near 700 win percent.
Wow. So wait a minute. Win percentage tells me he's a better coach than Mike Tomlin?
I never said I would take him over Mike Tomlin. You said top 10.
But win percentage. He's got a better win percentage than Mike. Is he a better coach?
No, he's not a better coach than Tomlin.
Here. If I had to take 10 coaches in the game today, would you take him over Sean McVay?
No. Sean McVay? No.
Would you take him over Matt LaFleur?
No.
Okay. Would you take him over Andy Reid?
That's a given. No.
Okay. Would you take him over Kyle Shanahan?
I mean, no, probably not. But
Okay.
Kyle Shanahan's got a lot of
Now,
issues.
wait a minute. I'm starting to run out of guys.
Yeah, exactly. He's 7 or 8.
Okay. Hold on.
You named the 6 or 7 I'd take in front of him.
Okay. Hold on here now. Would you take him over Kevin O'Connell up at Minnesota?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
So you think Nick Sirianni could win with Sam Darnold?
I never said that. I said I'd take Nick Sirianni as a coach of my football team.
To build your team. What's he ever built? Howie builds it.
Oh, good. You're giving Howie credit.
Unfortunately. Hey, don't I hold these little crazy grudges?
This is a shit topic. Move on.
Not a shit topic because you know what a shit topic is? That bullshit win percentage that you lean on. Like they win because of the roster, not the
just
coach.
like Jalen's wins don't matter.
I
Now
didn't say
Nick's
that.
wins
I
don't
didn't
matter.
say his wins.
And just like the organization doesn't matter, and the Commanders are better than us because they look okay versus the shittiest teams in the league. It's all the same bullshit with you today, Sills.
Hey, don't get mad at me because StreamYard knocked you off, man. I mean, hey, man, it's all good. Okay.
Oh, I am pissed.
I can tell, really.
I am pissed.
But look at Angry Xander. It's always good, Xander. It's always great. Angry Xander. All right, Xander, let's do this then. We were having this conversation at the beginning of the show, and wait till you hear his bullshit. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Look, I got Sills mad. Now he's dropping bullshit.
Yeah, I would never get mad at you, kid. Okay?
That's all right. You can get mad at me because I'm about to dust you on several topics today.
Fine. You're going to dust me? All right.
Yes.
Do you think the Eagles have been playing better football offensively than the Commanders have been playing in the first 9 weeks of the season?
Well, sure. I mean, looking at the last 5 weeks.
No, I didn't say last 5 weeks. I said for the first 10 weeks of the season, who's played more consistent football offensively? The Commanders or the Eagles?
Maybe the Commanders on a slight edge. On a slight edge. Yeah.
Let's take a look at that. Well, they're better than you in total offense.
Oh, are you factoring in the 3 teams that we absolutely blew out so bad that we didn't have to keep our starters in the game?
Hoss.
Or how about the 4 games that AJ Brown missed?
Hold on. Wait a minute. So fucking what? That's called the war of attrition, kid.
All right. But you're asking me if the offenses have performed.
No. Okay.
All right. How's Baker Mayfield been since his 2 receivers have went down?
That's part of the war of attrition.
I'm just saying your offense isn't going to have dominant numbers when your top guys go down.
Injuries are part of the conversation.
Yeah, but we won in spite of the injuries. That's what matters, not the offensive numbers.
We're talking about a fucking rookie quarterback, dude. We're not talking about a 5-year vet. And he's doing it. Ron Jaworski said today on WYP, he's the greatest rookie quarterback prospect he's ever seen.
I'll be hearing about this quote from Ron Jaworski for the next month. We better win on Thursday. Please win so Sileo can shut up about Jaden Daniels.
Passing. Well, here, this goes to the number. The Commanders are 10th in passing right now. And the Eagles, of course, that shitty 21st in passing right now. They're 197 yards. You got a rookie who's got a better season going than a 5-year MVP candidate. Hey, who's the number 2? Let me get it. Is it Nelson Aguilar? Oh, wait a minute. Eagles couldn't make that guy a good ball player, but Jaden Daniels can. Oh, okay. Hey, all you have to do is, I see. So the Eagles got Washington's trash and Dotson, and the Commanders got the Eagles trash in Aguilar, and Aguilar might have 850 yards receiving this year.
Aguilar was not bad for us. You misinterpreting that situation. You know, we actually liked Aguilar. He contributed to our Super Bowl run. But his bad moments in Philly, unfortunately, outweighed many of his good moments And it's tough to criticize that, honestly, dude. If you go back and watch some of the blunders he had in the city of brotherly love, they were not good. But look, he was always competent. I mean, look, he was one of our guys on the Super Bowl squad. I think he had a couple big catches in the Super Bowl. I mean, he was one of Wentz's top targets when Wentz was on his MVP run. I remember he started the year that year versus the Commanders, or the Redskins at the time, with a deep bomb from Carson Wentz. It was like 75 yards. I think it might have been the first or second game of the year. Aguilar from Wentz. So I've never disliked Aguilar, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate it there. Thank you very much. All right, let's do this. Rushing. Commanders are 4th. The Eagles are 2nd. Okay? I mean, right?
Bird's better at rushing team, clearly.
Scoring. They score more points.
That's because they're in closer games.
Well, really, I must have missed that Jags in that Browns game.
All right, you're nitpicking. What about the 3 teams we just blew out in the last 5 games?
All right, he says I'm nitpicking. All right, let's see how many close games.
I'm not. All right, did we have 3 games in the last 5 that we sat our starters at the end? Yes or no?
You sat your starters in the last 5 games?
3 of the last 5 games.
But that should tell you all you need to know, folks. Don't believe everything you're seeing because you're playing shitty teams. Hey, here, look at this. Good. Look at these. Here, look at these close games. Jacksonville 28-23, Cleveland 20-16, New Orleans 15-12, Atlanta 22-21. I mean, yeah, you've had a ton of blowouts. Come on, man. Come on, kid. Where are we going here?
I'm not buying any of the Kool-Aid you're selling today.
Well, I'm not buying that you think you're better than the Commanders when you haven't done dick either. I'm not buying the Commanders yet. I'm buying the Eagles after the next 3 ball games. The next 3 ball games, I'm buying.
See, I'm not even buying them at that point because it's the same thing after last year.
How do you know what you have?
Because it's about playing good football late in the year, and it's about building on what you are each week and becoming a better football team. You're going to buy them after 3 weeks. Okay, why? We beat the Chiefs, the Bills last year. Did you buy them then? So I'm not going to get into any scenario, whether it's week 12, week 14, week 15, of buying them.
Dude, that team a year ago was organizationally sabotaged by itself, by the coordinator change and the idiotic things that put that team into the toilet. Okay, when you were 10-2, you made a coordinator change in the middle of the season. It derailed the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm just saying I'm optimistic on the team, not because we might win the next 3 games, or because I'm optimistic because every week they seem to be building on what they had the week prior and getting a little bit better. Is there moments? Yeah, there's always going to be moments in a game that you look and you're like, whoa, what the hell's going on? There's always going to be those moments. I think the team has gotten better each week. I think we're playing better football right now than we did in week 1. I think they're building in the right direction. They're showing signs of getting back to the offense that worked for them in 22. Jalen Hurts has gone back to his normal self of not turning the ball over like crazy in the last 5 weeks. I think we're showing really good signs, but I'm not going to sit here and even if we beat the Ravens or we beat the Commanders twice, I'm not going to say, oh, we're winning the Super Bowl. No, because you got to play great in the playoffs. But I want to see us continue to build toward that moment, and that's why I'm optimistic right now, because they've done that in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah, well, I'm not optimistic on 9-28 and shitty teams. I want to see this thing get better.
I think it's actually worse than that. I think it's 13-35.
13-35, really?
I think
By the way, I misspoke. Nelson Aguilar is on the Ravens, so I misspoke on that there too. So I apologize on that.
It's really, Olamide Zacchaeus you're thinking of.
Yes, a 13-35.
I saw someone put that out today that the opponents of the last 5 we beat are 13-35. Now,
okay,
I haven't. I'm going to be truthful with you. I haven't fact checked it. I haven't fact checked you or him. So
how about this? Style points, Sills. Yeah, I agree.
I don't care about style points.
I think they look. No. I like, Bruce, what you're saying here, because you know what? Do they look better right now, Sills, than they did at the beginning of the year on what Xander just said? Yeah, they do look better, and they look more with rhythm. And I think when you're and that's, hey, Bruce, I don't look at 4 quarters of football like some people do. I look at a body of work and I look at how you're trending. Remember what we said at the beginning of the year? We said that we're going to find out by week 10 to 12 on what your defense is looking like. Then all of a sudden, Vic Fangio echoed that. Your offense would struggle and your offense would be bumpy coming out of the gate. Those were my exact words, and that's exactly what's happened. They had an epiphany at the bye. You know what that epiphany was? They decided to go back to doing something that they knew that was successful because throwing the ball was leading to disaster. He had 27 turnovers in 29 games. They've ended that how? By running the ball more.
Well,
That's
yeah,
all they've done.
But doesn't that help every quarterback? Like, I get what you're saying, but doesn't a great run game help any quarterback in the league?
It does, but for Jalen Hurts, though, there's no Saquon Barkley on Mahomes' team or Allen's team. Okay? Hey, by the way, has that helped Lamar in his passing game, having Derrick Henry? It sure has.
Yeah, it helps every quarterback. Now, look, I think I get what you're saying, and it's easy to criticize Jalen, but are you going to put none of that?
No.
Are you going to put none of that on our coaching staff, we have ripped on this show for coming out and throwing go balls to start games over and over again? Now, maybe it was Jalen. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But it's like somebody put it in our chat this morning, and I'm sorry if I missed your name, but it was a really good take. And they're like, yeah, Jalen struggles early in games right now. It's like walking out to take free throws in a gym. Your first 10 are worse. And once you get in a rhythm, you start hitting free throws. And you're like, okay, I'm in a rhythm right now. They got to get him in rhythm. And I think that's what the running game is doing. But to your point, me and John talked about this morning. I don't think the passing game is yet where they want it to be. And this is what John always pushes back on me, where I'm like, oh, we're a run-first team. And he's like, that's not what they want to be. They want to be a pass team that is helped by the run. So anything they do in the run game is supposed to help what they're doing in the passing game. That's not yet come to fruition. But
they'll never be that.
Yeah, but dude, where I think you're wrong.
And I'll show you.
They were that in 22, dude. They were not an incompetent passing team in 22.
They had 2,500 rushing yards between the coach.
I know. I'm not saying they weren't a great runner of running the football, but they had a solid passing attack, dude.
Okay, solid. Okay, I'm there.
I mean, we didn't put up 35 in the Chiefs in the Super Bowl running the ball.
It wasn't sensational. It was solid. Like you said, I'm there on solid. I wouldn't. That team will never be a pass-first team, and I'll show you why. Even in the last game, it was. By the way, all super chats go to the top.
Yes, Flex, and Howie got the stream cut again, 100%.
Hey, how about this? Last game was an exact indictment on your passing game. When they wanted to throw the ball against the Cowboys, you had turnovers and picks and sacks against the shittiest team in the NFC East. And then when they decided to go back, that's what happened.
I know, but my point is that every game has different call. Like in the Super Bowl game, that we played. You know how many yards our running backs had in that game?
Okay.
Just guess. Just entertain me for a second.
I don't know, because they yanked him after he dropped the ball on the carpet and they didn't.
37 yards between 2 and 45 if you add in Boston.
Took an L.
My point is that the passing game was elevated in that game because that's what it called for. When you're blowing teams out, you don't have to go to the pass.
You are not a passing guy. Your quarterback cannot win a Super Bowl from the pocket. Maybe that's where I'm at.
Listen.
No way is that guy going to win a Super Bowl from the pocket. No way.
Is there consistency issues? For sure. But Jalen has shown that he can be that guy in moments.
He will never win a Super Bowl from the pocket.
He nearly did it.
He will never win a Super Bowl from the pocket.
I think you're wrong to dismiss what we saw with our own eyes. I understand they didn't win. I understand it's the past. I understand 22 success does not mean 24 success.
He'll never be consistent. I'll take this one. Okay?
Well, that's fair. He's got to be more consistent. I agree with that.
Pocket. And that means if you're not consistent from the pocket, you can't win a Super Bowl. And by the way, now that's an opinion for sure. And that's a style point for me. Because in the last 16 Super Bowls, maybe they change it, Lamar and him.
Yeah,
over the next 5 years, Xander, maybe one of those two guys changes that dynamic. Okay? Maybe they do. And there's a good chance one of those two guys is possibly going to change the dynamic. Okay? Yale says he was great in 22. He was. I mean, but again, Yale, he's got to hang around 3,700 yards and 450 passing attempts. Last year, he threw for 540, and he had a mountain of turnovers. They tried that shit again at the beginning of the season in the first 4. He had a mountain of turnovers early on in the season. Over the last 5, he's only had 2, which is great. That is 22 football. Remember, I've been a guy on here that has been screaming for them to get back to 22. And for the record, Xander, I like the style they're playing. I do, because you know why? When you're in a fight with a heavyweight knockout artist, when you fight this Eagles team,
right?
When you fight that pack, when you fight that passive passing attack team, you can beat that team at any moment. But when you are playing against a rushing attack, Xander, I'm telling you, as a former D lineman, it's like having one arm tied behind your back, getting your ass handed to you every single play. You can't do anything about it.
No, I get it.
They're moving.
I get it, but when they stack the box and take that away from you, we better be able to beat teams in the air. And where you're right is, Jalen's got to be more consistent. And when the opportunities present itself, he has to capitalize in the passing game. Where I disagree with you is that he cannot do it. I believe he can do it. He showed me he can do it. I'm not saying that because I want to believe it. I mean, if you're saying that about Jaden Daniels right now, it's because you want to believe it.
No. What I'm saying about Jake, no. I got a lot more. Hey, I love the first 9. That doesn't mean I love the quarterback, because I brought this up with Merrill. I saw RG3 win the Rookie of the Year award in Washington, blow his knee out, and what happened? He's a commentator now on ESPN. I mean, so I totally get it, man. Hey, listen, like I said, you're never going to get consistency from the pocket in Philadelphia with that guy as your quarterback. You're just never going to.
Look, he's 26 years old, dude.
Any time in his career as a passer, but 22, and we're seeing it to 22.
Yeah, but can I challenge you on that? Don't you think it's a little bit naive of you to say he'll never be that as a 26-year-old dude that's improved his game in some way every year of his career?
Game. He's improved his targeting for sure.
He's Sills.
Dude, 5 sacks. Were you not watching and missed throws?
I watched it, but for you to say he hasn't improved his passing game is
Wait a minute. Did you watch a different Cowboy game than I did in the first half? You thought he was good?
I never said that. You're putting words in my mouth. You're not listening. You're like McMullen. You don't listen to what I'm saying. You're so worried about talking over me.
I told you, you're never going to get fucking consistent quarterback play from that kid ever, because he doesn't have the capabilities of it. And I saw it last week.
I think he's gotten
way better. How did you not see that last week?
I see him get way better, though, at this, dude. So when I watched him, and I talk about it all the time, how many times I watched him live and in person his freshman year of college, he could barely throw past the sticks. Go watch that Alabama offense. Every pass, it was 8 to 10 passes a game. It was behind the line of scrimmage. The guy has gotten so much better. Look, I don't disagree with you that he's got to be more consistent. I don't. I think you're correct. And I think his consistency is what will determine how good of a football team we are in the next couple of years. But for me to say he'll never be that, I think that's dumb. He's 26, dude. He's not 40.
No way. He will never have the consistency, because I have never seen the consistency. He's gotten better in his targeting of the passing. I watched him last Sunday, a couple days ago, shit the bed in the first half. Fumbles, missed interception, and missed throws. And then when they went back to the running game, that's when he was effective, because he was out in the perimeter running around, which opened up the single man coverage that we see that he's great at. There's no doubt. He's single coverage. He's gotten better at that. But if they do not run the ball, they are never going to have an opportunity, because he's not. Hey, look, I'll tell you, has he gotten better as a passer since I first started watching him? Yes, he has. 100%. But they're micro steps.
Dude.
Did you not watch Sunday?
Dude, why
Cowboys
are you
are
so focused on
terrible.
Sunday? What about Sunday has more meaning than every other game Jalen's played in his career?
The fact that guy, they had to go back to doing what they do best is running the ball. They ran the ball almost 40 times.
I know. I mean, look, I get what you're saying, but I watched him on the biggest stage pass against a Steve Spagnuolo defense, dude. They took away the run completely in that game.
Because they
Completely.
took out, because you know why? Your play caller and your head coach benched a guy for putting the guy on the carpet. And do you think that maybe didn't also help the fact that you lost a 10-point lead in that second half because you were getting 3 and outs after that as well?
We were not getting many 3 and outs in that game, dude. Go and look at the breakdown of that game.
If you can't sustain drives because you don't have a running attack, Hurts was the only guy that you had on the field there. You're telling me a running back wouldn't have helped?
Let me just give you the second quarter drives. We had 1 punt in the entire game. 2 punts in the entire game.
Holy cow! Here we go.
No, because you're mad. I'm bringing up the Super Bowl. I'm just showing you it as a show of Jalen proving to me that he can do it. Will he do it on a consistent basis? Yeah, we gotta see.
Never.
But you're pointing out the Cowboys game. Like, okay, he had good throws in the Cowboys game too.
That was the recent game. It was 3 days ago.
Yeah, I know. So what?
Right,
he took 5 sacks versus the Cowboys. Let me indict his entire career. No, that's stupid.
No, I'm indicting his ability.
I don't agree with you.
Okay, there you go. Then we'll move on to the defense because I'm with you. I do not at all subscribe to your shit, and you don't subscribe to my shit on that. All right. So,
Sills ain't pushing me around, Spike.
We'll agree to I'm not pushing this kid around. You kidding me? What are you fucking nuts? What are you listening to? You and your wife arguing over what?
I get
over
what you're
sandwiches?
saying. Where I'll concede is that Jalen has to be more consistent. Where I differ is that I think he can become more consistent. I think you don't think he can become more consistent. I would disagree with that heavy. Okay. It's only 26 years old.
By the way, hey, dude, what are you doing? What are you talking about? You and your wife arguing over pot pies? Give me a break here, guy. This is the real man's argument. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out of here, man. Hit the like button. Come on, savages. This is Godfather 2, this show. We just did Godfather 1. We're now doing Godfather 2 to separate this.
All right, where are we going? Number 2? You're going on defense? Because I got a topic.
Hey, where are we going? I
got a topic I want to bring up with you, but I want to wait until you're ready to bring it in.
What's that? What do you got for
me?
Well,
let me just flame Akbar again, who I've been flaming the last couple of days. Sorry, Akbar. I hate to do it to you, brother, but welcome to the Thunderdome, dog. He says, Zig, you're losing, man. Get warmed up.
He's not losing.
No, I don't care if I'm losing. I don't give a fuck if I'm losing. I have an opinion, and I'm going to state it. Whether people think I win or not doesn't bother me in the slightest. But Akbar was in the chat, and we were having this debate with a couple people in the chat, and I said I was going to bring it up with you about wide receivers. And Akbar's telling me he's going to take Devontae Smith over CeeDee Lamb. Are you taking Devontae Smith over CeeDee Lamb? Can I remind you real quick before you respond that CeeDee Lamb had 135 catches last year for 1,760 yards.
In the slot.
I don't care where he was.
Dude,
anywhere.
Slot,
you line up and getting your 2K yards passing.
Lesser talent in the slot.
Yeah, but that's BS because he was the only guy.
In the slot, you're going against safeties. You're not going against premier corners.
You're acting like the defense isn't going to move to cover the guy. Come on. He was the only target on that team.
You're playing against safeties versus top corners.
Yeah, but you don't think their defenses were moving to cover CeeDee Lamb? Wait, let me just break it down to you. Okay, I'm game planning for the Cowboys this week. CeeDee Lamb has 1,000 yards more than the second most receiver who had 700 yards. Let's figure out a way to cover CeeDee Lamb.
He plays a completely different position. The why? Are you crazy when you put it up on the board?
So you don't think you think Devontae Smith's better than CeeDee Lamb?
I think he runs better routes than him for sure.
Okay, well, routes aren't the only determining factor on what makes a good wide receiver.
I think he's got better hands. Is he as physical? No. He plays against top flight people at corner.
Look at that.
Dude, you know who you're playing against when you're CeeDee Lamb? Avonte Maddox.
All right, rank these three. Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb.
Terry McLaurin, CeeDee Lamb, and Devontae. But
I say CeeDee Lamb, Terry, and Devontae.
I would put him. dude, Terry McLaurin's a great football player.
A great player.
However,
I think there's a little eagle glasses on CD Lamb.
How about this though? I'm starting to think, and get this, you want to hear something, folks? Your guy had 14 yards last week, and 2 weeks ago he had -2. And I would still think this. He's got top 10 talent, dude. He's got top 10 talent. I mean, Devontae Smith is a top 10 talented kid. You're not paying him $25 million because he's the 18th best player.
I don't know, man. Look, nobody loves Devontae. I mean, people are like, "Oh, you're a Devontae." No. I watched Devontae Smith catch a national championship ball in overtime over the Georgia Bulldogs when I was on the campus of Alabama. Believe me, I love that guy. But we're in the NFL now. This is the big boys league. I don't think Devontae Smith. And look, many could argue it's because of Jalen or because of the offense and because of the players we have here. That's fine. I'll listen to that argument, but I don't think Devontae Smith has proven he's near as good as CD Lamb in the NFL.
Folks, and I want to tell you this, by the way, we'll read your super chats at the end. And I got to tell you something here. You know what's funny in this conversation we're having? The first conversation that me and this guy had was about Devontae Smith. You know what he said to me? Honest to God, he goes, "Hey, Sills," and he was all jacked up about it because of his Bama love. He goes, "Hey, what'd you make of Smitty?" He was all jacked up, and I go, "He's a fucking schwimp." I go, "The guy's a schwimp. He'll get killed. He'll never play." Xander's like, "Oh, I don't believe that." I'm like, he's like, "Who the fuck did we just hire?" And
this is like porn to Akbar. He's listening to this like, "Yes, Sileo agreed with me."
Wait.
Yes.
Oh, wait, this is an Akbar take? Fuck it. CD's better. Hey.
I love Smitty. I just don't think he's proven that much, man. He's barely cracked. He's got 4 years. He's barely cracked 1,000 yards in two of his 4 seasons. I mean,
but he's the number 2.
Yeah, but he's solid. He's not a superstar. He's not. CD Lamb is a superstar.
You don't think that okay, let me ask you this. If you put Devontae Smith on the Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes, how many yards and touchdowns would he have, do you think?
Yeah,
would Devontae Smith have 1,500 yards receiving and 18 touchdowns in Kansas City?
All right, here's a better comp, though. Because, I mean, shit, I think you could put Jahan Dotson on the Chiefs and he might bust 1,000. But what about if Devontae Smith was the only target on that Cowboys offense last year? He have an 1,800 and 135 catches, mind you. I don't give a shit where you line up. If you got 135 catches in an NFL season, you're a damn good player.
He'd have a ton of catches there.
Justin Jefferson's never even had 135 catches, dude. I'm sorry. I'm not wiping away that type of production because he plays the slot. I don't care.
Dude, the slot, though, you're playing you're going against linebackers. Now you have to be more
physical. But then why doesn't everybody in the league do that? If it's so simple.
Because not every wideout can handle the physicality down in there.
Well, then that's another
No, that's an advantage to him. Yeah. It is. Hey, dude, did you not see him getting ambushed and getting mugged by the Eagle guys going across the middle in there? Dude, it's a fear factor thing, too. I'm not saying Smitty doesn't have the Sacagawea to go across the middle, because he does.
He does, yeah.
Okay, but you've got to do that on a daily basis. Dude, that slot position, you're going to get a ton of targets in that position, man. And quite frankly, who's the second guy in Dallas? Some guy named Tolbert?
I don't know. Last year, I think it was the tight end. That's what I mean. Look, I get it. It's one thing to say that if you have a lineup of people that defenses have to take away. He was their only target last year, dude. He was their only guy. So defenses had one dude to take away, and they still couldn't take him away. I think it's a bigger credit to him. Akbar, try again. Brown did not have more yards than CD Lamb. Akbar, 0 for 1. Actually, you might be 0 for 3. Try again, Akbar.
He did. CD had a ton of yards and catches last year, dude. I mean, he got 36 million ducks for a reason. Okay. And it wasn't for getting 92 catches.
I just wanted to bring up those 3 because we were talking about him in the chat. I think all 3 are great players. I'm not saying Smitty's not great, but
Terry McLaurin with a decent quarterback. Look what he's doing now, man.
Terry McLaurin was damn good when he had shitty quarterbacks. That's how you know that.
He had Sam Howell in there and doing all that bullshit with him.
Still getting 1,000 plus.
Let me show you something here, too, with what.
Oh, now I'm a cowgirl lover because I said CD Lamb's a good player. Oh, Jarrell, fuck off, Jarrell. That's some bullshit, Jarrell. The dude has 1,800 yards. We can't give some respect to great players in the league. I'm a fan of football, Jarrell. I love football.
Dude, there's no question, man. I mean, I wouldn't call you I wouldn't call you a yeah, here, look, let's take a look at this here. We're Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin's a really great player. I mean, okay, here's McLaurin. Yeah, he's going to have a big year. Right now, Terry McLaurin is projected to have 112 catches and 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. And he's averaging 15 yards a catch. I mean, he's a really good football player, man. He is. And he's playing with a rookie quarterback. Thank you. Make sure you have your top 10.
You have a lineup of people right now, and you got to pick one wideout for your squad, and there's only two left, CD or Smitty. You picking Smitty?
Yeah.
Really?
You know why? CeeDee Lamb will quit on me.
What makes you say that?
Because the way he plays, if things aren't going his way, creates some bitches at his quarterback, and he doesn't. I'll tell you what, the way he bitches.
I think Micah is a quitter.
The problem with his character.
I don't know. I don't. CD's character doesn't strike me wrong at all.
That guy's character. I can't believe I'm defending an Eagle player like this, but he's my favorite player.
I can't believe I'm vouching for a Cowboy player like this. But the hate is crazy. This dude's a great football player, man.
I love that guy. I think
Xander, you were doing well until this. Twiz, you can't put me in a box.
Hey,
you're doing good until I disagree with you. Okay, great.
Hey, I love that guy. And you know why? I fell in love with him more the last 3 weeks. When fucking he didn't cry and bitch about fucking AJ Owens over there. Every time he doesn't get his targets, he cries and bitches and screams. That guy sits over there and does his job. I watch that guy in the run game blowing people up for Saquon. You don't think Saquon looks at that and goes like this? Look at this guy, man. He's getting no targets. They're kind of not going to him. And here he is throwing his body in there for me. And you think, now I won't say that because AJ does it too. I've seen
him. A great blocker. Yeah,
he is. He learned that in Tennessee, I think, too. Yeah. Okay.
Look at Polska. Take my Eagles hat off. Oh, Polska, fuck you. Fucking telling me I can't be a fan.
Believe that segment. Holy shit. This guy goes, I go from bashing on fucking Jalen Hurts to going to defending Smitty. We just went on a seesaw. My head hurts.
We really did. Wait till we get to the quarterback rankings.
Oh, no.
Seesawing back the other way, dude.
Hey, everything will be back to normal here in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Hey, honest to God, man.
Wait, you want to?
Who have you been more impressed with right now?
Yeah.
I heard both coordinators talking today. Who you been more impressed with, Kellen or Vic?
Vic, for sure, Vic. No doubt, Vic. I mean, not even close, Vic. Kellen Moore inherited.
Have you been surprised? Have you been real? Dude, you know why? I didn't know what to expect because those guys fucking bitching and moaning down in Miami about him, saying that his defense was antiquated and it wasn't going to work with younger players. Dude, he's working better with younger players than he did with the veteran. Dude, you had Xavier Howard down there. And then you had, what's his name, Jalen Ramsey. And you had both those corners. Those corners are Pro Bowl corners. And they're like this. Hey, Vic, F you, man. You're not that good. What's the matter, man? They're attacking your Eagle pride.
No, they're just hilarious. I mean, the commenters are just fucking hilarious, dude. They really are. They're some funny-ass people.
Yeah.
No, I hear you, though. I hear you. I get what you're saying. Defense, the Vic is definitely more impressive to me. I mean, dude, he's got, like I said, Kellen inherited a Bugatti and said, okay, drive it straight. You know, Vic Fangio inherited solid talent, mediocre. Many thought the linebacking core was going to be the worst in the league. By the way, the content machine that you are, I did not expect you to leave off to the extent you did what Vic Fangio had to say today about Zach Bond.
I haven't even gotten to it yet, actually. Well, go ahead. Say it to the folks.
I'll bring it. I want to give you the exact.
Because I haven't talked about the coordinators yet. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. I'll pull up what McClain tweeted because he tweeted the exact quote. And I'll find that in just a second here. Give me one sec. Well, he said, I think he's an inside line. I can't find the full quote, but basically they asked him why you made Zach Bond an inside linebacker. He said, well, Howie came to me with Zach Bond and said, I think this guy can be a great backup edge rusher and a special teams demon was the word that he used. I watched the tape on him and said, this guy can be an inside linebacker. That's when we started making the shift. And Zach Bond is obviously, the rest is history at this point, where he's been one of the top linebackers in the league in the last 9 weeks, which is just insane impressive from the guy. But, you know, right there, I mean, how impressive has Vic Fangio been? He's
well,
making
that's
a dude that
his forte is linebackers.
I know, but still, even
No, I agree.
It's one thing to coach a guy into being a great linebacker that you draft in the first, second, or third round. It's another thing to pull a guy who's been in the league for 4 years and say, no, I'm not going to put him where he's been his whole career. I'm going to make him a linebacker. And not only am I going to make him a linebacker, I'm going to make him a top 10 linebacker in the game. Now, some credit does deserve to go to Zach, but pretty impressive what Vic did with him and what he's been for this team. It's really it's fun to watch, dude. I mean, I've been waiting for a good linebacker in Philly.
Let me ask you this. If you're him, because he has the leverage now. He's on a 1-year deal.
He does.
Okay. He has the leverage. So if you go onto the open market, and what is the price tag in 2025 for a free agent top 5 linebacker?
It's not cheap. You know, somebody commented.
Because last year they signed Patrick Queen for $18 million.
You know, one of our hilarious commenters commented, because we talked about it on Birds 365, what the contract would look like, and I said, is it 10 mil? And somebody commented, and John said, no, I don't think the Birds are going to go that high. And then somebody commented, Xander, you'd never be my GM. Paying Zach Bond 10 mil when he'll take 6 is insane. And I'm like, dude, if this guy keeps playing like this, he's going to get north of 10 mil. Roquan Smith, just for example, I know he's top guy. I'm not saying Zach's Roquan. I'm not. But Roquan Smith signed a 5-year, $100 million deal. $100 million. That's $20 million a year. I think Zach's going to get at least 10 to 12, somewhere in that range.
Let me see here. I'm looking at it right now in the NFL Players Association on what they're projecting, what a linebacker is going to cost. Somebody like him, say he ends up he's trending towards 159 tackles, which is fucking incredible. Okay, I mean, if you're him, do you sit and take the do you take and sit home? Because Greenlaw is going to be a free agent too. Here's the projected salaries here. Here we go. I'm on the NFL Players. I had to use my code here. Hang on for a second. Linebacker. Here's the linebackers. Here it is here. Okay, you're talking right now. Okay. 8.5 to 19.2 for top 5 guys. Bobby Wagner signed for 6.5, but I think that's because of age, because he's 34. That Matt Judon in Atlanta, he just signed for 13.6. Okay, so I mean, dude, if you're him, I'm a free agent. I'm not sitting in Philly because Philly's.
Here's what
Philly's not going to offer him $14 million.
No, they're not, and they're not known for paying linebackers. And you know his agent's in his ear telling him that. But let me ask you this, because I think it's a fair talking point. If you're Zach Bond, do I want to make a couple extra million and not be with Vic Fangio anymore and be like, I don't think his success is guaranteed outside of the Eagles organization. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm not trying to take away from the player, but Vic Fangio said, you're going to be a linebacker now, and he's playing unreal football. I think he might be like, can I take a 2-year deal and stay with Vic for a couple more years? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
No. Hey, because listen, no, it's a great. This is why I say he has the leverage, because to me, I think the Eagles will come to him with a hometown discount type deal. like maybe, dude, he's got a shot to make second or third team All-Pro. And the only reason he won't make first team is because he doesn't have the name yet. But he's playing first team All-Pro. So I don't want anyone to think, I don't think he's in the room with them guys. But for me, like you said, do you want to take the $5 million, go somewhere else per year, be on a shitty team, be with a coordinator that doesn't know you, hasn't developed you? And if you're Zach Bond, do you feel an obligation because this guy resurrected what career you thought maybe you didn't have? Do you look at it like this? Philly's going to be good for a lot of years here, man.
Dude, he's making 1.6 this year.
I know, man.
He's about to get 1,000% increase in contract.
Yep. Okay, now remember, I see someone down here, Real Zeal, take the money. I get it. There's no doubt players do that, man. But man,
what about what the one on the screen? Philadelphia says, "I'm not paying Zach until the end of the season. Let him stay hungry."
Yeah, at Philadelphia, that's how you fucking lose people. Okay? Because then guess what? You let a guy, say he goes to the Super Bowl, he's Super Bowl MVP. Then you're talking about an $18, $19 million guy. And then you're way out of the room.
Yeah,
now you can talk to the guy here. I'll tell you what, if he continues this play into week 14, I'm not letting the season end without that guy having a deal, at least on the table, knowing what we think. I want him to know what we think of him. And $6 million is like not thinking highly of him. Yeah, look at what DeAndre Swift did. They came to him first before Barkley, by the way, and offered him a $6.5 million. That's John McMullen saying that. You know what he said? Fuck you. I'm going to go make $9 million in Chicago.
Yeah.
He grabbed a bag of money. Now, Chicago's.
You want to do the quarterbacks? We only got 9 minutes until oh shit, dude. I got to send what's his name, the new link. Fucking A. Dude.
Let's do the quarterbacks and then we'll do the super chat.
We only had 9 minutes before.
Holy shit, man. I forgot all about that, man. I mean, that we have to do a new dude, we're just bugging through here. I forgot where we are at the time, too, man. Great stuff, guys.
I'm texting the legend, Joe Theismann himself. Let me just make sure.
I'm going to read you my top 10.
All right, go ahead. Well, I need to hear. I'm up to 8 again. I struggle with these last two because it's a total crapshoot for 9 and 10.
Okay, here's my 10.
Let me hear your list.
Here's my 10 quarterbacks. Number 10, I got Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Number 9, the man from the city of brotherly love. He finally, for the first time this year in 2024, has made my top 10 Big Sales list. Jalen Hurts. Number 8, the 7-1 Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. Number 7, an iconic year, Joe Burrow. Number 6, I got San Francisco's Brock Purdy.
Who'd you have 7?
5.
Sorry, who'd you have 7?
Joe Burrow.
Ooh, whoa, okay.
Number 6, Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers. This will shock people. At number 5, I have Kyler Murray at number 5. Number 4, the greatest rookie quarterback in the history of the National Football League, Jaden Daniels.
Dog, what?
Number 3, I have Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Josh Allen. And number 1, I have Lamar Jackson. So, Herbert 10, Hurts 9, Goff 8, Burrow 7, Purdy 6, Murray 5, Daniels 4, Mahomes 3, Allen 2, Jackson 1.
It's a shit list, dog.
Yeah, okay, sure.
You got a rookie who's 0-3 versus teams above 500 at 4 overall.
And you got a guy who's played great in a 9-28 record. Great. Here we go. Once again. Okay. Holy shit. You got to be kidding me.
Can someone please in the chat tell me what the win record is of the teams that the Commanders have beat? Please.
Will someone please tell this kid the last 5 so-called spectacular weeks, 9-28 combined record. How you doing? Come
I
on.
still got Burrow high on mine. I'm sorry. I love the way he plays,
Probably
dude.
too low. Probably too low. And I
I see
probably have Murray.
Paul said you got Burrow
Probably
too
have
high.
Murray too high. Probably have Murray too high.
Man, I think Murray's okay where you are.
Dude, he's
I mean, I think you're a little high on him, but
Murray's playing really great ball.
oh boy, you're not gonna like my list.
Let's hear it,
You
man.
ain't gonna like my list.
Did you tell Joe we had to give him a new link?
I did. He's normally a text reader. Send it to my email. Oh shit, he said he's logged into the old link.
All right.
Wait, one sec. I'll get him.
Okay. Shit list. Did you hear that? What he said, folks? A shit list.
All right, let me rattle mine off because we're gonna have Theismann coming up. All right. 1, Lamar. 2, Mahomes until proven otherwise. The guy's 9-0. I don't want to hear any bullshit on that. 3, Josh Allen. 4, Joe Burrow. 5, Jalen Hurts.
What?
6, Jaden Daniels. 7, CJ Stroud. 8, Jared Goff. Can't throw 5 picks, dog. Can't throw 5 picks in the game and not drop on the list. 9, Brock Purdy. 10, Justin Herbert. And maybe you could say swap Herbert out for Kyler. I could maybe go there.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe Theismann is coming up here in a second here. And I talked to Jaws this morning. He said that Jaden Daniels is the greatest rookie quarterback he's ever seen in his life. Can you imagine hearing something like that being said about a guy who has seen all those young quarterbacks that we've seen in the NFL over the years? And you're watching one of the greatest prospects. And before I get Joe up, I'm going to bring him up. Remember what by the way, Herm Edwards is coming on Friday. He coached him at Arizona State. Yeah, remember what he said? He said, be on the lookout for this kid because this kid's special. And he reminds me of a modern day Randall Cunningham. That's how he plays.
So what we'll do is we'll do the super chats after Joe. So get to Joe and then we'll handle him after. Good stuff, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We had to send Joe a new link because YouTube went down a little bit here. And he has always been so kind to me, and we so love it. By the way, guys, please hit the like button here. The owner of a Super Bowl ring, Most Valuable Player Award, has seen it through. And by the way, it's great to see Washington relevant again. It's some of the best fans in the National Football League. You know, we had Doc Walker on a couple weeks ago, and he said, Sills, what do you make of the fan base? I go, it's great to see the energy back in D.C. again. And the guy who brought a lot of that energy is our friend. Here he is, former MVP, Joe Theismann. Joe, it's got to be great seeing that energy again, man, back in D.C. with this team.
It's unbelievable, Dan. So good to catch up with you again. I mean, it's just been a great shot in the arm in a very short period of time. I mean, you know, think back 10 weeks. You had basically a brand new football team, a brand new coaching staff, obviously brand new ownership, a very – young, what we thought would be a terrific young quarterback. But, when you play this game long enough, you say, well, maybe it takes some time for somebody to get up to speed. I think Cliff Kingsbury's done a masterful job. Nobody talks about the concepts of the offense as far as what he's been able to do to find a comfort level for Jaden. You see with Sean Payton out in Denver. You see Bo starting to get a little more comfortable. Caleb still, they fired the offensive coordinator in Chicago. Is it the coordinator? Is it the plays? Looks to me like he's running around for his life an awful lot. And of course now Drake May is starting to, find his way a little bit. So this class is coming along really well, but there's no question Jaden stands at the top.
Joe, are you shocked with all the turnover? And what I mean by that is Brian Johnson, quarterback coach, the former Philly OC. Cliff Kingsbury comes in. You got Dan Quinn in there. You got a lot of new personnel. New scheme. I mean, for it, new owner, like you mentioned, for it to be hitting on all cylinders. And I can imagine you pumping the brakes a lot because you don't want to go downhill too much, get people on that wagon and you fall off towards the end there because how much of it is now pumping the brakes and telling people now, let's let this thing play out. It's 9 games into his career now. He's got a big one coming up on Thursday night, obviously for the lead in the NFC East. I mean, how much is it of that, Joe? And are you surprised with all the turnover?
Well, first of all, Dan, it's for years I've talked about cautious optimism. I'm more optimistic than I am cautious about this football team. I am a bit surprised. I think everybody would have to be when you have so much newness, when you have so many people that are basically putting in, filling different pieces of the puzzle, from players to coaches to concepts to philosophies. That's all different. And that usually takes a little bit of time. But I will say this. I remember when Joe Gibbs took over our football team in 1981. We went to the we went 0-5, and then we went 8-3. And then we went to the Super Bowl with a very, very young, inexperienced, new coaching staff, new players. Some of us had been there, but never really in that system. And I have a little saying, if you don't know, you can't get scared. and that's basically what I think we see with Washington is, they didn't know what it was going to look like. They hoped. Of course, everybody hopes that they want to see it go well. And the fans, especially, because they've been disappointed for so many years, all the talk in the offseason, all the acquisitions, all the different players. And now you really have what really looks like a stable organization from the top to the bottom. And they're tough. They play tough football. They play resilient football. The defense complements the offense. The offense complements the defense, and the special teams complement both units. You beat the Giants with 5 field goals. Well, no, 7 field goals. Yeah. You beat them. And you had other games where you barely got by because of the kicking game. So it's every element. It's truly a football team in that the essence of the word, that acronym that goes TEAM, together everyone achieves more.
Joe, how important for you in moving the sticks and continuing to develop your game was Art Monk? And I kind of make the comparison of having Terry McLaurin for this young player here, because, man, you can make a comment that McLaurin, he is maybe the most underrated football player in the National Football League, because he's on pace right now for about 1,300 yards. He is something else to watch. And I love the way he runs routes. I love how he blocks in the run game. He kind of has that Monk factor about him that'll do whatever it takes to win a ball game. Whatever they're doing, the Hogs ran the ball, he's in the blocking game. But how important was it for you to have a guy like that? And how important do you think you can kind of, talk a little bit about Jaden Daniels having Terry McLaurin? How important is all that?
What bothers me a little bit is this isn't the first year Terry's been Terry. Okay.
I know, man.
Terry's been scary Terry. But all we hear about is Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle and Jeffers. We hear all these other names, but you never hear Terry's name mentioned. I think part of that had to do because the football team didn't have success. He hasn't signed that mega contract where everybody talks about economics and money. He certainly deserves it. But what was interesting is, just as Cliff has designed the offense to take shots with Terry, to give Terry a chance to make plays, we did the same thing with Art Monk. It was Joe Gibbs's genius. See, Art was out of Syracuse, was a running back. We made him a wide receiver when he came out. But he couldn't get away from bump and run. Dan, he would belly bump, he just couldn't get away. So Coach Gibbs figured, okay, I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to move him. So Art became our move guy. Figured it was harder to hit a moving target than it was to have somebody stand still and jam him. And he became the guy that I always was able to find. I liken Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey to what Art and I had. People would say, well, as a quarterback, you find the open guy. Truth of the matter is, the open guy, the receiver, finds a place to go for you. So it isn't just you searching out somebody in a hole, it's him finding a place. And when you think about being able to get the ball out of your hands and know that you're going to wind up in an area where it's going to be safe. Today everybody throws 50-50 balls. The concept of working to get open is a lost art in professional football. Nobody works to get open. Everybody knows, can't touch me after 5 yards. I'll just run a route, and then I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll turn to the referee. Just run the route and catch the football, will you? For crying out loud, stop griping as a receiver. You never see Terry do that. But Terry will get in somebody's face. He's not afraid to go after anybody. He's a terrific young man. He's a terrific football player, and he deserves a lot more accolades than he's getting. And if you just want to go by somebody's way he plays, how you want to recognize him, Terry's the guy.
Jalen Hurts, you think he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL today?
I think Jalen had a tough year last year through injury. Everything that happened with the Philadelphia Eagles last year, it would be tough to evaluate the position. Dan, you've heard me say this umpteen times. The quarterback position is the single most dependent position on the field. He didn't have a lot of help. AJ was down. You had Smith was down. At times you really didn't have a full complement for you in Philadelphia. They're playing much better. He's playing the kind of football that we've always seen him play. It always looks like to me, when he takes off and runs, it looks like he's moving in slow motion. I watch this and I go, somebody's going to catch him. Nobody catches him. It's amazing. I think he's having an excellent year this year. I think we have to let the year play out, because now we're getting down to where you're going to see division games. Things are going to heat up everywhere. I know, in the NFC East, it's going to be that way. Obviously, in the AFC North, it's going to be that way. So you're going to wind up with, teams playing one another that are familiar with one another. It's like you don't see a whole lot of pitchers pitch through the seventh inning anymore, because the rotation comes up a couple times. That's a little bit of what we see when we start playing division rivals, as the teams have. But I think he's certainly one of the guys that's playing, in the top 8 or 9 right now. No question.
Joe, I say this, and correct me if I'm wrong. I take your opinion so highly on this, but I don't think you can not win a Super Bowl from the pocket. If you don't have a guy who can win from the pocket, you can't win. And that includes Lamar. Now, he's showing more from the pocket this year than he ever has. And I think Todd Monken has done a great job with him at teaching him how to spread the ball. And I think that horse behind him, known as John Riggins, Derrick Henry, is helping him a lot back there. So, but Joe, I don't think you can have one of these dual threat guys. Look at Vic and Cam. I know Cam got to the game. Am I wrong when I say that? You have to win a Super Bowl from the pocket.
Judge Dan, I will present my case to you. There's a guy that comes to mind. Let me think. His initials are TB. He couldn't outrun the setting sun. Okay. It would take Tom Brady. It would take him a little while to outrun the setting sun. He found a lot of success from the pocket because he got the ball out of his hands in a timely fashion. And this is the thing. This is what I've noticed more about Lamar this year than in past years. He's continued to develop in the pocket because he's making quick decisions and getting the ball out of his hands. So he doesn't have to run around. But when he does, obviously, he's very difficult to deal with. Derrick Henry could not have gone any place else and been the complement that he is in Baltimore than he is right now. I mean, people talk about going to Dallas. It'd have been just like he was with the Titans. He'd have been that guy that they're going to give the ball 15, 20 times to. If he breaks one, great. If he doesn't, he's just going to pound and pound. But there's no threat besides him. I'm shocked that the Ravens have lost as many games as they have. Yeah. To be perfectly honest with you, I'm absolutely shocked. But I think if you want to play a long time in this league, you have to develop your game from the pocket and then let your athleticism take off. Jaden's doing it very, very well. Kyler Murray is doing it very, very well. We see, obviously, Lamar doing it very, very well. And then you look at the records of these teams. It gives you that other element where you don't have to necessarily run, but the teams have to be aware of the fact that you can and will. It's more like it's a threat than anything else. That doesn't have to happen, except maybe once or twice, And so to me, I think that you being in a pocket is essential for longevity. Being able to make plays puts you in a very precarious situation. I mean, Anthony Richardson, he has to learn to do it all. Yeah. I mean, there's a guy who really needs to learn to operate from a pocket. I mean, he's athletically, can run around a lot. Josh Allen has done a better job operating from the pocket and being very judicious when he runs. So you didn't see Josh's running game develop. You're looking at his in the pocket passing game develop. It's the same thing with Lamar.
Joe, when I look at Cliff Kingsbury and I look at the style of quarterback that he's had, Patrick Mahomes at Tech.
Yep.
I mean, Caleb Williams has that same kind of dual threat kind of being able to throw the ball and run when he was at Southern Cal. Kyle Murray, look at what they did. They won 11 ball games in the NFC West out there, and you had Pete Carroll, you had Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay out there. I mean, and it's the Cardinals and the Bidwells. So you know what I mean? I mean, that was pretty good. Now, this looks like the same kind of style. How important was that? And what a great hire that was by the organization in getting the right coordinator to fit the right skill set. I mean, that's something, Joe, that I think people don't take into account a lot, and that misses a lot. Just because a guy's a great coordinator in Chicago doesn't mean he's going to be a great coordinator anywhere else. How important was that?
100% right, Dan. You know, you have to fit the system to the player. You know, okay, we're going to go after somebody that has mobility. Who has handled players like that before? And what kind of success have they had with players like that before? And you know, the term I like to use is you need somebody who can move. They don't necessarily have to be able to run. I think that's to be able to move, to get yourself in a position to get the ball out of your hand. You don't see Patrick run much. Patrick runs very, very little when you really stop and look at it. But he moves extremely well. And I think that marrying up the system, the play caller, and the player are all three elements that have to come together. If you're missing one, you're going to miss the boat on all three eventually. So, yeah, I definitely think that, you know, the hire of Cliff, the coaching they've done with Jaden, and, you know, here's the other. I've had the opportunity to be around Jaden, and I really like the young man. I like his work ethic. I think he's a great leader for this football team. I think he has a insatiable appetite to grow and get better. He wants to win bad. He'll do everything he can. And then he proved his toughness after he got his ribs busted up a little bit. Then he comes back the next week against the Bears and plays terrific football. I mean, the thing about him is he's been very consistent. We're starting to see a little bit of a kink in the armor of Sam Darnold. You know, is Sam Darnold, you know, started like a house on fire. And now over the last couple of weeks, he's making decisions that remind you a little bit of the old Sam Darnold.
Jets.
That gets a little bit scary because, you know, when you're in a position to put points on the board, paramount is your mind to protect points. If it's you just don't throw it into places in the end. There's no room for anybody to go. It's a very crowded place, that end zone. I gotta be honest with you, very, very crowded. and more people with bad intentions are around the ball than people with good intentions normally. And so that to me, this is a big week for Sam. Big week. What, you know, his next game, what's it going to look like? I don't know if they're on a bye or not this week. I'm not sure, but what's this next game going to look like? Because he's sort of gotten into a little bit of that, you know, rut that he got into in the Jets, and, you know, trying to get back into where he is. He's played terrific football, and Kevin's a great coordinator, great play caller. You know, I mean, you look at Matt LaFleur up in Green Bay, you know, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, Sean McVay with the Rams, Kyle Shanahan. You know, these to me, and you know, look at the way Cliff runs this offense. You know, there's my top 5 as far as offensive guys, and uniquely enough, the top 4 all were together.
Yeah, and Washington.
They really learned under Mike Shanahan. I mean, they were taught by the master, who was taught by Bill Walsh.
Absolutely. Couple last ones here for you here, Joe. You know, and to go along with this character, what you were talking about, I'll give you a story. We had Herm on. We're having him on Friday, and he coached him, obviously, at Arizona State. Yep. Here's one of the coolest things I heard about the kid, and he made us all aware. And, you know, that's why I picked preseason. People thought I was insane. I said, I think the Commanders are going to win the NFC East this year. Uh-huh. And people thought I was insane, but I was like, I just think this kid is special. Herm said that when he transferred to LSU, he walked into his office and he was in tears. And he said, Coach, he goes, I know you do. Because Herm was leaving, and he goes, I know you do. I want you to.
That's why he left.
And he goes like this. He wouldn't have left. No. And Herm goes, you knew he had character because he came in and he was so emotional about it because he had such an affection for his teammates that he didn't want to, but he wanted the coach to go. It was okay. And so he goes to LSU. And I think that speaks to the kid. And I think the journey has a lot to do with the guy's character and where he is right now.
I agree 100%. You know, he didn't, because we talked, I asked him, you know, why LSU? He said, you know, really, because Herm was leaving. You know, you know, everything else was fine, except the guy that brought him there was gone. You know, and that's another thing, which is a topic for us at another point in time, Dan, but how hard can it be today to be a college coach, to have to recruit, sign players, and then watch them walk out the door in a year?
You got to re-recruit your guys every year that you recruited the last 3 years.
And then I look like, I think, I don't know if we talked about it, the University of Tennessee is going to raise their ticket prices so they can pay players. We don't have, there is no amateur football anymore.
Oh no.
It's professional ball. It's professional sports in college. Forget about football. It's professional sports in college.
Hey,
chase the dollar.
Shedeur Sanders is driving a Rolls Royce around in Colorado. I mean,
well, that could have been a gift. That could have been a gift from his dad too.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. Throw the ball away, son. Okay. Yeah. Let me throw this one at you here about your defense. Boy, I'll tell you what, man. I knew Bobby Wagner was a good football player when he was in Seattle. But let me tell you what Kellen Moore said today about him. He goes, that guy's in charge. You know it. You see it. You know it. When he's there, that whole defense runs around him, and he is a catalyst in the middle. So how important was it for Dan Quinn to get someone like that? And obviously he has a tie-in with him up in Seattle. Him and with Gus Bradley, they won a Super Bowl together up there. Yep. But boy, he's going to Canton. He's such a great ball player. Have you been surprised? Probably not by his influence on that team.
I'm not surprised at all. I believe that's part of the reason why Dan brought him in, because of the familiarity with the system. And I think that, Adam Peters deserves a lot of credit. When you have a puzzle with a lot of pieces, you have to find the right pieces that fit together. I think he, and working in concert with Dan, of course, Josh Harris and that group, figured out the players they wanted to put on this football team. You look at these guys. Yeah, more than half this football team was new to a Commander uniform when the season started. How quick can you get? That's why Bobby was so important and is so important, because he has the opportunity to teach others, which really creates stability, not for just 1 year, but going forward with this football team in the defenses. And then getting Lattimore. All of a sudden, now you've added another corner. So you're looking at a football team that continues to improve, continues to play great defense. I mean, you lost Jonathan Allen, one of the guys up front, but you wouldn't know it by the way they come off the ball and as hard as this football team plays hard, Dan.
Oh yeah.
They play 60 minutes of hard football. And if you don't believe that, all you need to do is look at the 2024 Chicago Bear Washington Commander football game. They played 60 minutes, not 59 and 58 seconds. They played 60 minutes of football, and they wound up finding a way to win.
Last one here for you, Joe. I look at last week's game against the Steelers for that Commander team, and I think that's a prime game for you to be prepared for a good football team coming up on Thursday, where you played, where you know what championship level football is going to look like. You had a great football team defensively for sure on that side of the ball. You're going to see another one here on Thursday. Yep. You had a quarterback who's kind of that dual threat guy too. It was back and forth. It was as physical as it gets. Joe, I've always said, when you're in games like that and you're at those high-level games versus playing those other dog teams like the Giants right now, you're not getting anything out of that. But you're getting a ton of experience and knowing what championship caliber talent looks like at that level. How important was that game to prep for Thursday's game, especially with a young quarterback, knowing that he's got more to go on here with this game because it means the NFC East?
Well, he's got the experience now. And when we were under Coach Gibbs, basically the way we looked at things is we were going to play our standard of football, irrespective of who was on the other side of the ball. That's why you'll win games 42-10. That's why you'll win games 24-21. Because you have to play to a certain standard. They did that against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They know how good that defense is really something else.
It's great.
And Russ has done a great job. I think the one thing the Eagles do have is their two wide receivers in particular are a handful. They have been a handful, and they are a handful. And so that's a little bit of the difference you get than what you had in Pittsburgh. And Russ is making good decisions, getting the ball out of his hands. Jaden, runs a little bit more, possibly at times. But again, it's going to be a great contest on Thursday night. We're going into Philadelphia, and I know you talk to Joe as often, so Ronnie and I don't talk this week. Just kidding. But no, it's I do believe that playing a game like that, people look at it two ways. Wow, it was a really tough game. Are they going to have anything left in the tank? Absolutely. Absolutely. When I played in Canada, we played 3 games in 10 days.
Wow.
So, I mean, to me, looking at, 2 games in 5 days, it ain't that big a deal. I mean, if you're in shape, if you're, ready to go, if you've gotten through the previous game in a relatively healthy way, then, it all boils down to preparation and play to your standard, not to someone else's. You don't go down a level. You don't want to go up a level. You want to be where you are. And that's what the Commanders are doing right now. They're establishing a level that they're going to play at. And whoever they go up against, irrespective, doesn't matter. We're going to play our game, period.
Joe, I got to tell you, man, I'm looking at you right now and I'm thinking, did any team suck in the NFC East when you played? And it was no. Hey,
No.
It was, and get this, Joe, there was the Skins defense was sick good. I mean, the Giants and you were going against Gang Green. Maybe the only team that wasn't good during that time were the Cowboys, because they were kind of winding it down out of the Danny White era, but they were still good with Ed and those guys, with Randy.
There was a period though, Dan, that they were still mighty darn good. I mean, when Danny White took over, when Roger left and Danny took over, that's what we beat in the NFC Championship game.
No, they went to 5 straight NFC title games.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I mean, it's and the Giants. Look at what they were able to do. And then, of course, obviously the Eagles, the head-to-heads were always sort of in the division. Who was going to beat up who was going to get an edge in the division. And
more Super Bowl teams, Joe, have come out of that division than any other division in football.
A statistic I did not know, but thank you very much, Professor Dan.
Hey, man, this is going to be great Thursday night. I can't wait. And by the way, one last one here. I want to sneak it in on you. Isn't it great to get the Washington fans back? I mean, Joe, I tell people, when you used to go into RFK and you used to see that stadium bouncing up and down, you used to go, is that me, man? Or am I equilibrium off? What's going on here? The stadium would roll, like rock and roll, and the noise in there was so intense.
It's only 55,000 people. That's all. It wasn't like some of these big ones today.
It seemed like 155,000.
Exactly. They made that much noise. Real quick, the game I remember most, obviously the Super Bowl winning is a terrific, but the game that stands out in my mind the most in my career was the NFC Championship game against the Cowboys, when we were winning that game at the end. And they brought in all these aluminum seats for people to sit in to increase the capacity. And at the end of the game, they were pounding their feet on those aluminum seats. I'm standing on the sideline, and literally the ground beneath my feet is shaking. That stays with me forever. That's the memory I have from professional football, is the way our fans are, the enthusiasm and the energy. And there's been generations that have not seen this. So now all of a sudden you've got the younger people getting a chance to experience something that their dad or their grandfather or grandmother or mom, they talked about when they went to the games. So it's, we basically are becoming a generational gap in Washington for the fans of Washington.
Man, I'm glad it's back, because
I
missed. Yeah, I bet, man. I miss that franchise with being a winner all the time. I mean, when I was younger, I don't ever remember the Washington Redskins, Commanders. I don't ever remember them sucking. I just now, new ownership, new future, new quarterback. I can't wait till Thursday night. Joe, thank you, my friend. I really appreciate you so much. You know that we've been friends such a long time. Thank you very much.
Always love visiting with you. Take care. Oh, by the way, Veterans Day was yesterday. Let's just not remember our veterans on one day a year. Let's honor them, thank them, every day of our lives for giving us the chance for me and you to be able to do this, but to remember them every day.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Amen. We look forward to it. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thanks, Dan. Take care.
You got it. The great Joe Theismann. Isn't it great to see Washington football back? It's so great to see Washington football back again. That's such a great fan base, man. Hey, Xander, let's get those super chats. And we appreciate Joe doing that, man. That was absolutely awesome. Let's do the super chats. Yeah, come up. Let's read those super chats now. Because, look, one thing Xander and I do, you can always count on us with our word. And by the way,
Big Z is back.
Big Z, let me say this to you. That guy's the guy you can always trust. Hey, Crossing Broad, fuck you. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry I said that. Go ahead.
Yo, can I just real quick before we do the supers? I love Joe Theismann. He is an awesome dude. He's unbelievable when he talks about football with you. You guys have great chemistry, by the way. But somebody in the chat, was saying it, and I'm like, I like Joe because 4 years ago when I was a measly producer and I called him on the phone, he treated me like a pile of gold. And that's the type of shit I love about people. And he's a good dude, and you can see it and you can hear it when you listen to him. And I thought he had great words there about Veterans Day, which was really dope. Let's read off
this MVP. He was an MVP in the league. He won a Super Bowl.
I think he was a runner-up Heisman too, right? And
runner-up Heisman at Notre Dame. That's right. He's a Notre Dame. And he won a national championship at Notre Dame.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. Sean Mims checks in. The book is not out on Daniels. He sucked versus Bears, and they play a last place schedule. Interesting,
really. Yeah, the book is not out yet on Hurts either. Continue, please.
Polska Trucker. Are you worried about the defensive ends not getting to the quarterback? I still think it's our weakness in our defense. Also, I do believe that our DTs need to show up and stop Washington's offense.
Well, that kid Jalen Carter is playing his ass off right now, in my opinion, and he's picked his game up since the bye. But that has been something, without a doubt, that has been my biggest gripe about the defense. I still think you struggle at the edge. Even though Josh is playing great, I think the other guys, Huff and Nolan Smith, I think they're going to have a big game on Thursday night.
Yep, no doubt about that.
By the way, Jalix Hunt is starting to get reps, so just to keep an eye on.
Yeah, Vic spoke about that a little bit today. More about the cast is at least what he said. I don't know. I kind of trust Vic nowadays because he's honest. Flexen said, Howie got the stream cut again. Yes, he did.
Yes,
for those just tuning in.
We made up great for it, guys.
I know. We got back over 300 in here, which is awesome. We lost a lot of views from when something like that happened. So we appreciate all the support. Keith Johnson, Xander, every great show has a villain. Seinfeld had Newman. Martin had Pam. And West Baltimore had Omar. We have Big Sills. Rock on.
The villain of Philly. Is that what
nobody knows that better than me? Believe me, I get hate emails daily, Keith. One dude commented, Xander, how could you put us through the agony of listening to Big Sills yesterday? I responded back to him, dude, you sound like my little sister crying in my comment section. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, well, how could you complain to a Philly guy about the way the guy talks? I mean, man up, Snowflake.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. The comment was ridiculous. I roasted the dude in the comments. I hope he didn't take it personal, but I don't care if he did. Jarrell says, the shit Sileo is saying is like people saying Bitcoin won't hit $100,000. Jarrell,
don't worry, Jarrell. I'll be right in the end. Your guys, you know what your guy's going to win? He's going to win the best free pass to go to Disney over the next 3 weeks here. Believe me, he'll be buying a ticket and the fast pass going to Disney World. That's it.
You got to be kidding me. Lies. Anthony Wilson. Lies, Sills. They got going in the 2-minute versus Dallas. I know I was at the game. In that 2-minute drill before the half, Jalen was completing passes. It wasn't the run game that got them going. He's right.
5 sacks, 2 turnovers, missed passes. Hello. Okay. Hey, Anthony, your eyesight. Glasses? Here.
Anthony, appreciate you, brother. Happy you got to go to the game too, man. It's good stuff down in Dallas.
Hey, Anthony, did the sun blind you too?
Yeah, it might have. Gabe Santos checks in. Gabe, that's a big super, man. Thank you, brother. $20. And thanks to all of our super chats. We know you guys know we appreciate you. Gabe says, why do you keep talking about opponents' records? Any given Sunday league, these are professional. You talk about the Birds winning record doesn't mean shit, but when they win against teams with losing record, it means something to you. Agreed.
Played against losing teams.
Agreed.
Hey, Gabe, you haven't played a winning team yet. Wait, Atlanta and the Packers. Congratulations to you, kid. That was like 14 months ago. Go ahead.
General JD, who's consistent not named Mahomes? This is the NFL. Well, he's not that consistent either, but he's damn good.
God.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God, man. Who's consistent? How about this? Mahomes is not consistent right now. He's not consistent. He just wins the games that matter.
All right, we better speed it up because these super chats are going to be going to the overtime bill Sills is going to send me. If we get 1 minute over 6, he might cry about it.
You're such an asshole.
Polska says, it's Jalen's 4th or 5th year in the NFL. How much longer do we need to wait for him to improve?
Absolutely, man.
He's
Jesus, he's like on a GI Bill.
Polska, here, why don't you go to Tom Brady's podcast, comment with a super chat and say, Tom, were you better at 26 or 36? Get back to me with the answer, Polska.
Shit, I thought he was better at 41.
Exactly. Case closed. Michael Robinson. He hasn't had consistent coaching since Bama. How are you supposed to grow with a new playbook every year, Sills?
Get used to Philly.
Yeah, that's true. That's on Philly, dude. That's not on Jalen.
Michael. That's one of my complaints, Michael.
Yeah, we'll see.
Holy cow, 3 o'clock. I mean, hold on. Just hit the...
I might be doing the supers alone. Wait. Every super chat will be right.
Hey, hold on. I just hit the OT. Go ahead.
Des Morgan. So Sileo is saying because Jalen had a bad half of football, he'll never be a good passer, but he'll ignore golf.
Yeah, no, that's
5
right.
picks and still put him in his top 5.
Yeah, not putting any. Hurts is lucky to make the first top 10.
Des is cooking. Des is stirring up some stew.
Des, he ain't got shit. He's got shit stew.
General JD, Goff's in year 9. Mahomes is in 8. Hurts is in year 5.
Congratulations. Way to count.
Anthony, agree with Sills. Smitty is better. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you take CD. I'll take Smitty.
Yeah, same quarterbacks. I'm getting more yards than you. That's for sure.
Yeah,
F-body guy says,
Smith, and I'll have a better offense because I
got a damn Devontae Smith Alabama jersey hanging in my closet upstairs. I love the dude. He's not better than CD Lamb. F-body guy says, Sills had the same attitude when he said the Eagles would win 5 games. Respect the dude. But he's
wrong guy. I said 9 games, dickhead.
Yeah, he didn't say that, F-body guy.
Angelo said 5. I said, and by the way, I said the Cowboys would win 5 games. Be lucky to.
Overtime. Take a screenshot, everybody. It'll never happen again.
That's so
Stop this. Let's be real. Smitty on half. What's that?
Look what you fucking created. You got these people think that I'm like the hard to work with overtime.
No,
Let's go here. Let's go here.
I love working with you. It's been 4.5 years.
Hold on. By the way, too, last time, the only reason I bitch is because John McMullen, with all that soliloquy he had there, man, I was like 2 Coronas down. Go, please.
Stop this. Let's be real. Smitty on half the teams in the league is dropping 1,400 plus. All right, well, CD's dropping 1,800.
Hey, no, he's not. Philip, hey, you put Devontae Smith in Buffalo, or you put him with the guy in Los Angeles, he's 1,500 yards.
Maybe.
Okay.
Wait, you're the guy that wants to be proven it. You don't project anything. You don't believe in hope.
This guy's on pace for 920 yards in the 2-hole with games where he had 14 yards and -2. This guy's a good player.
He hasn't had 100 yards yet this year. They're not using him at all.
Oh.
Xander is like James Cagney. I don't know who that is. In white.
Yeah, he's an old. This guy must be 100 years old.
He's on fire. Yeah, Keith.
He's the guy that picked up a pie and slapped it in a chick's face.
All right, 2 more left. Appreciate you, Keith. Thank you, man. Harv, 8:30. Harv's got good comments. I got to give it to Harv. He said, Harv said, I do appreciate how well the defensive line maintains gap integrity and contain in the pocket. That's a big sales question there.
I do too. I like this, man. Let me tell you what, the pressure's picking up and the coverage is getting better.
Abe says Eagles 32 and 55 and Washington 41-56 opponents. And both pretty shitty.
Yeah, both.
Well, I asked him to pull that stat.
Well, remember something, Abe. That's why I say I don't know Washington. Xander's got the Eagles as the greatest football team since 2017. Super Bowl bound. Great.
Polska. Look at Polska. He destroyed me. Jalen's 25 and hasn't won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl at 24 years old.
Look who you're comparing Jalen Hurts to. the greatest thing of all time at the quarterback position.
Polska, that completely removes the point of the question, which was why can't Jalen improve? What a stupid take by Polska Trucker.
Hold
All
on.
right, Sills, good show, dude.
Bill's coming.
I'm going to be hearing this for months. But watch, tomorrow we'll be starting at 2:05 again, like we always do. Goodbye, everyone. I love you.
You bet. Xander, great stuff. Make sure you check that guy out on Birds 365 tomorrow. We appreciate all you guys going with show number 2 after YouTube ended up trying to hijack the show. Thank you for all of your tweets. Thank you for all of your super chats. Big Z, Big Joe, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.